So the thing is, I was expecting the kanjis to be a bit more difficult. Everybody knows here that I was panicking, like full blown panicking about the kanji, because at the end of the show, there were pretty complicated kanjis like Shimbun Kisha and yeah, like very very complicated kanjis. So I was Kusuri. I was like, oh no, I am done for. And because Sensei said that the whole Nihongo show is there for the exam, so I was like naturally anticipating, like, okay, they are going to give some really bombastic kanji, but they did not. I mean, I was more than relieved at that point. Like, nobody was as relieved as me. But I do have problem with katakana. I always have problem with katakana because they look very similar to me. Katakana looks very similar to me. Like yeah, so I was like, I had to reread a lot of times. It's a good thing that I was able to read faster than I usually do, but yeah, I had to reread the katakana section a lot of times before answering correctly. Like I took my time rereading a sentence like two, three times before actually marking on the OMR sheet so that I'm being extra cautious about that. Apart from that, the Mojigoi section was pretty easy. It was like, okay, we could do it. I could finish it. I could finish reading within the 10 minutes, and then the next 10 minutes I spent marking the answers.
Honestly, I faced no problems during my the first two papers were like absolutely fine for me. I do not know what I've done there, but at least when I was reading through, I really did not have much problem. And as for the kanjis, I kept telling Ankana-san and Ritvika-san as well that we are just panicking without any cause because we will really not get something as difficult as Shimbun Kisha. Like, and so yeah, so because we were practicing before, I honestly had an inkling of what kind of kanjis we do get for N5, and they weren't really that difficult. So, yeah, I mean, they were all known kanjis. It wasn't really difficult for me. And so, what I did right before appearing for JLPT was that I went through like 19 to 20 chapters from the very beginning of my Nihongo Shoho book. So, as and when you keep reading, your reading is bound to get better. You are going to get faster with your reading, be it katakana or hiragana and even kanji. And actually when you just start reading, it just comes to you, even if you miss out with one. Exactly, if you miss out with one katakana and you just can't singularly figure out what that katakana is, if you can read the rest of the word, you get the word what it is, because katakanas once again are like inflected forms of English words mainly. So it's really not that difficult to figure out them in like the papers. So that is all I have to say for my experience with that paper. It was not that difficult for me, it was good. So yeah, about vocabulary, as I said that we had already started with our N4, and really if you just go through Nihongo Shoho, which is a very, very handy book, by the way, you won't really get words which are like outside your syllabus. And as you keep conversing in a language, in even in your classes, just a 1.5 hour classes that we get weekly per like 2 days in a week, were more or less enough because we used to converse again and again in Japanese, and it was like you get accustomed to most of the words and the vocabulary there. So for N5, really, guys, everyone can chill.
See, I was kind of worried about the Mojigoi section the most before sitting for JLPT because I have a like it's been 2 years, okay, and I still do not remember all the katakanas properly. I cannot with katakanas. I cannot. So yeah, that was a bit difficult for me, that portion. But honestly, sitting for the JLPT, I was like, okay, this was the, and like afterwards I realized it, That part was the breeziest of them all. So I mean, yeah, as for vocabulary, as Namrata said, like regular practice will get you through N5. Like that is the one sentence I'll sum it up everything. I'll sum it up with, like, if you practice properly, if you know your words, it's fine. Like N5 is not really anything. But yeah, as for katakana, yeah, that part was a little bit difficult. The kanjis, I expected it to be a little bit more difficult, but they weren't, which I was a little bit was kind of sad because I was expecting that part. But yeah, I mean, I know these people are giving me reactions at this point, but I get it. That's just me, my personal opinion. But it was easy, and I am glad it was easy because I was worried about this section, and it was the easiest for me. So as for no, yeah, I mean that is it.